So with the recent chapter being finally finished out of Fairy Tail chapter 509, we're now going to be talking about the next chapter and exactly where that can be going as well, with 5010 being known as Natsu's heart. Now we're going to be making a few assumptions exactly where the next chapter is going to be going, alongside talking about with a little bit of news regarding Fairy Tail regarding some of its releases coming up. So for a little bit, we're just going to recap slightly what happened in the last chapter, just in case some people don't understand where exactly the story might be going. Exactly being titled Kagura vs. Raki, we finally saw from the last chapter, we was able to see like Kagura going against him, and boy was that a very one-sided fight in the fact that, you know, Lakade just owned her. Like, we gotta admit though, it did give her a very strong like chance. Like, honestly, out of all the characters and all that, like, we just saw immediately get like destroyed and all that. I'm kind of glad at least she had a kind of a moment to shine. It showed her determination by like biting her own tongue to that point that she would reveal that yes, it is definitely building up the Spriggans so heavily well, and I really do enjoy that. And the fact that like for the past couple of chapters that we've been going back and forth with like these three Spriggans. We've been seeing Irene, we've been seeing August, we've been also as well seeing Lakade, and that as well is something that I'm really enjoying right now, which kind of leads up into the next chapter that we're going to be seeing very soon. Right at the very end, they're getting the reveal exactly that Lakade's mother, that being Mavis Lillian, and the fact that whether or not we're going to see actual like the whole details on that yet, we do know the fact that Mavis is going to be fighting sometime soon against her own son that was like biologically created like some test tube. But being titled the next chapter, Natsu's heart, and we haven't seen Natsu in a very long time, it is also going to like center around him, and though it can talk a little bit about Zera, since the characters that we still haven't seen for a little tiny bit of all that, it's definitely been Natsu. Natsu's group's kind of been like a little bit, especially how they just like kind of walked on at the whole fight with like Irene, because we've been balancing on the fact that we've had Urza and Wendy going against Irene, we've had Jalal and the entire like the rest of this Ration size like going against there like with August, and then Natsu's kind of been the one that's out of commission for a little while. He's been knocked out there with Gray, so this might actually have something to do with it while they try and calm him down and maybe deal with that tumor that he has inside of him. And this also, like this chapter as well, could relate a lot to Zeref. Maybe Zeref is talking about maybe there's something in his demon heart. He keeps like pushing the E.N.D like too far. Maybe this is going to affect him in some way. We've clearly seen. Wouldn't be surprised if he has something like a tumor inside of him that's like transformed into E.N.D. and we're surprised that like it rattles out and like becomes sort of demonic in some way. But generally, I think like more like the chapter is not to do with physically, but I feel like it's going to have something to do with emotionally with Natsu's heart. I generally think that the whole time of this chapter is definitely going to be focusing around on his side for the most part. Like if anything, but we are going to see sides of the other fights. Maybe we are going to see a bit, a tiny of like the Lakade stuff like going on there. Like maybe we might see someone like interrupting that match. Maybe we might see a tiny bit of the Irene match. August. We are going to see, I believe, which I'm really liking right now, because that's some mangas really have a big difficulty with this, and I feel like now that Fairy Tail is definitely improving a lot with like these three Spriggans compared to the other ones that we've had. We're getting a very nice balance between all three of them, and honestly, it's really enjoyable, and I've definitely been seeing a lot more positivity like for these three Spriggans, and I am very much looking forward to it. And I generally think that August has got feats, Irene's got feats, even Lakade, as much as like a lot of people like kind of diminish what exactly Kagura is, I generally think interesting that they did that. But generally, no, I think, like, if anything, what the next chapter is going to be about with the title of Natsu's Heart, normally every chapter, like, either it's mentioned in the chapter beforehand as a word or anything, so, like, what we saw with, like, Pleasure and Agony, that was obviously relating back to what we saw, like, you know, with, like, Lakade when he was revealed. Obviously, Kagura and Lakade, like, versus that's pretty much, like, very much shown. Trump card, Broken Bonds, and, like, we've had a lot of them, and generally, they've been, if not the main focus, they've been definitely like kind of the second, like to third act of like that chapter, what they've been focusing on, and then normally gives us a little bit of the twist around the end, which I definitely like, you know, with every time with Fairy Tail. With that news out of the way, like kind of making the guess about that, it's time to talk about some of the recent releases that are coming out. Obviously, we've got the new version of like Volume 58 that's coming out. We've got the OVA coming out very soon as well alongside of that, so we are going to be having a OVA coming out sometime very soon, so definitely look forward to that. There will be probably a live reaction maybe on there or a review, depending on how enjoyable it is on there. Plus, as well, if there's been, like, if you haven't noticed as well, there is a brand new illustrations book out at the moment for Fairy Tail, as you can clearly see, known as Harvest Illustrations, which, if people don't know, is actually a sequel to the one that I have currently in my hands, which is Fantasia, which even I still haven't had a chance yet to even open and even do anything with it. It's definitely, I want to open this up on camera and show off some stuff for you, but that's a whole video upon itself. So yeah, if you generally want to get that, that should be coming out sometime soon. I have had a look on Amazon, and currently there is no release date on there, but there is a release date for the Twitter stuff that he's putting out in a volume format, and alongside I think he's going to be having some bonus stuff in there, like I'll show you right down there. That's coming out on the 17th, so yeah, any of you Fairy Tail fans definitely want to get that. Then go and look on like Japanese Amazon. I'm pretty goddamn sure you can find it on that way a lot easier, and just generally, yeah, like that's honestly the news that we've got so far, and I think like I wanted to mix in like with a little bit like, hey, this is what I think is going to be happening in the next chapter, but I kind of want to add a little bit more to it, like it's generally, like there's a lot of content to Fairy Tail, and at least the fact that we haven't got any spin-off mangas now, like whether or not we have any more of them come back, we still got stuff, like I said, we got the Fantasia illustrations, we got Harvest ones, which I kind of like the little, like play on them, whereas like these are like Fantasia and Harvest Festivals are actually things in the series, and that's where the illustration come from, so I thought that was really nice. That's a cute little thing to like have on there, and generally add to the fact that, you know, there's still a lot of like content out there, and I know a lot of people will get upset like every time when like we talk about the anime and like we talk about the movie and what's happening with them, and I know like there's just like a lot of people are like getting upset where it's like, you know, they're getting very impatient in the fact where it's like, we just want something, just give us anything, a teaser, a picture, anything. And yes, I know that the NDA is just such a bitch with like that OVA stuff, so it's sad that we're gonna have to like deal with that. And then in the end of the day, I know people really wanted to come out as soon as possible, like literally, but at least on the plus side, we can at least say that, hey, that gives us more time to work on the movie, gives us more time to work on the anime series itself, whatever it will be. And then adding into the fact as well, it just gives us more chapters of the manga to just keep progressing. The more chapters that we have, then the easier it is for the series not to catch up with itself. And, you know, who knows, maybe like after the point that Fairy Tail gets close, maybe that's when the series might end. It's like, have this ending, like, we don't know. So a lot of things onto there, adding into that. But no, with the next chapter being titled Natsu's Heart, I definitely think, you know, with a focus on that, I think more going along that it might have a little more of an emotional meaning than it will actually physical meaning. Although it could bring back, like, maybe when like they go and have the Natsu checked out, it could mean something about actually like the demon inside of him is taking over and this is actually messing up his heart and everything. And then you could probably see like Lucy saying, no matter what, you know, Natsu is still Natsu to me. Like, he will always be that close person that I know and, you know, care for. And, you know, if anything, we could actually get that in the chapter. A little bit of gnarly relationship stuff. We've been getting that a little bit recently, so hopefully we'll see a little bit more of that. And generally, we clearly know this is not the end of E.N.D, and I think we're going to see a little bit more of him sometime in this arc, but when that's going to be happening, who knows. Thank you very much for watching. As always, you love Fairy Tail as much as I do. You know what to hit about that like, you know what to hit that subscribe, all of that good stuff. That is all from me. Thank you very much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys though next time.